When you hear the word consciousness, do you automatically think of spirituality? Have you ever wondered what that relationship really is? Stay tuned.
Hi, we're Becky and Corey Center, and today we're here to talk with you about the relationship of consciousness and spirit, or spirituality.
This is wrapping up our What is Consciousness kind of month, and it's the final piece, and like many of our other things, it's much more ethereal. However, we're going to try to give you some context and some things that you can really take home while you're at home, things that you can take away and actually use.
So like the other pieces, there tends to be this balance. And so we want to dive into first this realm of balance. So it's not entirely like a demonization or a deification when it comes to spirit, although the funny thing is it really can be, and almost literally, whether you're dealing with like demon realms or deities. But what we're really diving into here is around how grounded or how like out of body and in the spirit realm we tend to get. The trick is there's an ability that we have to transcend the physical realm, to go into the spirit realm, to dive deep, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through plant medicine, whether it's through just deep breathing, lots of ways to kind of transcend the body and access spirit realms. The challenge is that we're not able to interact in the physical world. And so what we're looking at is this balance of staying grounded enough to be able to interact in this world and let that channel through, but not, so grounded that we lose the connection to the spirit realm.
And your spirit is eternal. That's at least what we've come to accept, globally, is that, the spirit is eternal. It's not bound by time or space. And in that, it's really easy to stay ungrounded. Or one of my personal pet peeves, to spiritually bypass the things that you don't want to deal with. A challenging emotion comes up, a challenging situation comes up, something comes up where you don't want to deal with it, and with this air of spirituality, it's like, oh, it's all good, we're all one, it's all perfect. No, it's not. It sucks. It hurts. It doesn't feel good, and that's okay. You need to be able to really stay grounded and really, work through that.
Part of being, having a human experience and being in a body is being able to and learning to move through some of these things so that you can, truly have an experience of it being, all perfect. And the idea is that there is that layer of everything's perfect, but what we tend to find is when there's spiritual bypassing going on, there's a layer of saying it's all perfect on the surface when underneath, it's like the duck on the water, underneath the kicking and screaming like, it's really not. So we want to find a place that's really congruent. And that's congruent at a mental level, at a physical level, the body's, processing what it needs to, energy, like all of it. And so this is where that grounded piece grounds us in all layers of our being at a healthy level. Mm-hmm. And that's for you to explore what that means to you, what that healthy level is for you.
Just know that you're looking for balance. Balance doesn't mean equality. It means a balance point. So keep that in mind, take that home, chew on it, and let us know what you think. Brings us to the next point, which is where spirit tends to know the things that are undefinable. And I'm going to use an example because saying that is hard to comprehend. Think of love. Intellectually, you can't understand love. It's not something you can define and put into words and actually make it make sense or actually encapsulate all of what love is.
You could talk about it, you could write about it, you could think about it, but that's not the same as actually experiencing it or knowing it. So it's not something the mind can really, really know.
It's the reason poetry is usually the medium to try to capture love. Making metaphors and telling a story and using the beauty of language to kind of, make a similar expression. And also it's not a physical thing. Like you can't reach out and touch love. You can't see it with your eyes. You feel it. There are definitely sensations associated, but that's not the whole story either. To really have the experience comes from the spirit within. Without the spiritual piece, it's not something that you can define or fully experience.
And especially at that spirit level, that's where the little bit that the body can experience and the little bit that the mind can understand, but not fully in either realm, when you dive in and you access that spirit world, it ties it all together, and there's that full understanding then, when in contact, when in this consciousness of spirit, that something like love can fully be understood.
It's also why you need all three parts, the mind, the body, and the spirit, for the full consciousness.
So the last piece when we're dealing with consciousness of spirit is not just about it being undefinable or being like, how grounded do we get, but there's even more.
So, I guess that's me. That's really receiving messages from the divine, from other realms, from things that you could not possibly know.
So this receiving of messages, some people call it intuition. Some people speak of talking to guides or hearing messages from God or other realms. It really doesn't matter what you want to call it. And please, find what language works for you. Even, the most grounded scientific people tend to have this same connection as well.
And the thing is, with spirituality, this is my opinion and my belief, that spirituality is as unique to you, the individual, as your spirit is. Even within a religion, no two people believe exactly the same thing the same way. That brings back that curiosity and the way that you interact with the divine, whatever name you have for that. It's yours, it's personal. There's nothing wrong that you can do. It's just a matter of cultivating that relationship so that you know what it feels like and you know how to integrate it into your collective consciousness within yourself.
And like all things that we're passionate about, that relationship is key. So cultivating the relationship with your spirit and starting to see what that consciousness is like, because it is a whole other type of consciousness. And it definitely has its own flavor that, when aligned with the consciousness of body and the consciousness of mind, gives us a more holistic understanding of what consciousness itself, with a capital C, really is.
Spirit's also the place where happiness originates. And it's actually the blueprint for the mind-body-spirit connection of the full consciousness. Plato suggested the three-part soul, which is honor, wisdom, and leisure. Now, I've translated those into the mind, the body, and the spirit. The wisdom, the philosophy, really taking care of the mind and giving it something productive to do. The honor, which is to do one's duty, and really comes from that spiritual place. And then leisure, which is pleasure, enjoying yourself, enjoying the body. And he suggested that those three parts of your soul must be in balance or in some kind of harmony in order to produce happiness. And if that balance is not there, neither is happiness. So take that home and chew on that as well.
So let us know what questions you may have. Hit the like button or leave us a comment, leave us a question. We love dialoguing and interacting with you. You can check us out online at mantramed.com, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Love you guys. Bye.